Lewis.
Hello.
This is amazing. I've never done a podcast / interview in like a room like this with lighting, there's cameras, as a team. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But welcome to the podcast. It's amazing to interview you. How are you doing? How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. It's my birthday today.
Happy birthday.
So yeah, that's pretty cool.
This is a birthday interview.
It is indeed, yeah. So let's make it a good one.
Let's make it a very good one. It'll be amazing. Yeah. But Lewis, of course, I know you. We've been friends for quite some time. But we're here to talk about your film, obviously, last December, which we'll be releasing, which we'll go into in further detail soon. Mm-hmm. But for those people out there that don't know who you are, let's get to know you a bit. Tell us about yourself, Lewis,
Well, my name is Lewis Anthony Smith, filmmaker, aspiring director. Just graduated from film school a few months back.
Amazing.
And just, pursuing a career in terms of that, really, wanting to make as many short films as I can in the near future and just working my way up the industry, really.
Of course. Well, it's very exciting to actually work with you. I mean, we'll talk about this later on, but, I'm actually working with you in one of your short films, which is...
I'm sure we'll touch on that.
We'll touch on that a bit later on, but, of course, I'm very excited to see what you do in the future as a director.
Thank you.
But one little question then, to start things off. Why did you decide to become a movie director? I'm sure, everyone wants to know.
I've just, I've been like all over the shop as far as my career. I started off doing graphic design.
Nice.
And then I moved into engineering.
Yeah.
I've done a few other bits. I worked in an art gallery for like 6 months. But then I finally decided to go for film because I've always loved it.
Nice. Yes, of course.
And something that I've always been passionate about, but haven't really just gone for it up until 3 years ago when I applied for film school.
Amazing.
And I'm glad that I did do, because I'm very passionate about this. So.
Yes, and I'm so glad that, you're now pursuing that dream, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. I've got a question. Did anyone inspire you to become a movie director? Have you, seen a movie and you were like, oh...
What, like favourite films or directors or whatever?
Yeah. What, favourite film, director?
My favourite film and my favourite director who made the film. So my favourite film is The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight.
I'm a sucker for superhero films and DC films specifically. So,
amazing.
So Christopher Nolan, who made that film and the Dark Knight trilogy and just all of his films, a massive inspiration for me. He's my favourite director, as I say. So.
Oh yeah.
But then there's also like Steven Spielberg, Scorsese, Zack Snyder, and other directors that I'm probably forgetting about as well.
Of course.
But yeah, just kind of a wide range, I guess. I like films that got cool ideas, cool concepts, good stories, engaging kind of storylines and characters and stuff like that.
100%.
And those are the kind of stories I want to replicate in my own work, hopefully.
100%. I mean, being a director, I guess, is like being a storyteller. But you're using people and emotions and music. It's amazing, I mean, I don't think I could ever be a film director. I'm an actor, but
vice versa. I could never do acting. So
it's an amazing plot. But the director,
stick behind the camera. Yeah.
Well, the director gets the most credit because they made the film. They put this story into like picture motion, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So of course your favourite movie director, I'm guessing, is Christopher Nolan, as you explained.
Indeed. Yeah.
I'm sure we've all seen the latest film, Oppenheimer. What did you think of that?
Really good. Well, there was a big buzz and a big craze about it, wasn't there? A lot of people went to see it. I thought it was the best film of the year last year.
Really? Nice.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Maybe I'm a bit biased when I say that, but I love Nolan films. Outside of Dunkirk and Tenet, I'm not a massive fan of those, but everything else is,
of course,
really good.
Amazing. Well, one little last question to break the ice for people that, I guess, want to know a bit more about you. What do you like to do in your free time, Lewis? When you're not, I guess, directing or working, do you like to do any favourite pastimes?
Well, you'll be surprised to hear, but I like watching films.
Amazing, I didn't know it. Really?
So I like watching films, obviously. But also just, hanging out with a mate, going out for a drink,
nice.
for a pint or a coffee or something like that.
Nice, relaxing.
Just general stuff like that, really.
Of course.
And maybe doing a bit of art every now and again.
Art?
Potentially. I used to do it a lot more back in the day, but I ain't really got time nowadays.
Oh, that's funny.
So I used to do quite a bit of painting and stuff, but
Yeah,
not so much
right.
nowadays. And video games as well is another hobby when I've got time. But
Amazing. Well, we like that.
easier said than done finding the time nowadays. So,
Yeah, I'm guessing, you know, but that's really cool, you know. I mean, that's just kind of funny that you watch movies in your pastime, you know. That's what you like to do.
Yeah,
Get
well,
inspiration.
good thing to do as a director, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it probably goes without saying. I mean, as a director, you need to see what other people are doing, of course. But
There you go. Yeah.
to form your own ideas. Well, without further ado, let's now talk about why we're here. Mainly is to promote your latest, and I think it's your first ever short film that you're directing. You're directing this latest short film. So, without further ado, should we play a clip from that short film, and then we'll talk about it?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
Okay, let's play a clip. Roll it.
What will you do when you're back?
Get married.
You're far too young.
How old are you when you got married?
Your age.
That's why I know you're far too young, James.
You any advice?
On what? Marriage?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't make promises you can't keep.
And that was a clip from your latest short film, last December, yet to be released. So let's get straight into it, Lewis.
Yep.
What is Last December about?
It is about a couple of British soldiers that are lost in France during 1940, during the Second World War. They are trying to find their patrol so that they can make their way back home, basically. They've been lost in this area for a little while. They're finally getting close to their meeting point where they're going to meet the rest of their team. A couple of things happen along the way in terms of like their friendship and their relationship. But then they also encounter a few Germans along the way, and a few things happen without any spoilers.
Of course, well, you have to find out, won't you? Well, you know, of course, you kind of already touched on this. The time period it's set in. Can we say exactly what year that is set in?
It's 1940. That's what. There's a little title opening. It says 1940, the start of the film. So
nice. I would like to quickly add in there. I've thankfully you've let me see, you know, the movie. Yes,
I kind of had to. Yeah.
Really impressed. I was very impressed.
Thank you.
I'd like to add in. I like, you know, when the very opening part. You know, where it's like the titles, where it's like, what was it again? I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like,
well, it says 1940 France, December, and then everything like disappears.
And then it disappears.
Yeah.
And then goes to last.
And then it goes last. Yeah.
Really like that. That's all I'm going to say. Don't want
What
to
a spoiler that is. Yeah.
I'm allowed to say that, aren't I?
Yeah, it's only the title.
It's only the title. Yeah, the title's really cool. I just like that.
That really gives away the story, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, wow. No, but don't worry. Anyway, so just to ask a few more little questions before we get into the depths of this movie.
Yep.
What genre is the movie, would you say?
Thriller, historical piece, war.
Yes, nice. What can people expect to see? So, you know, what emotions will the film conjure up? Can we say?
I'd like to think there'll be some emotion in it, particularly towards the end with the main scene, the final scene at the end of the film. As far as like what happens with the characters, stuff like that. So yeah, some emotion hopefully.
Yeah.
That's brought out by the acting, the music, etc. Just the story in general. But then also just. I don't know. I wanted the film to be like very moody, very kind of not depressing, but like touching on depressing a little bit with it being such a dark time period, with it being World War II. So the film starts out like very kind of dark and moody and stuff like that, and then there's like glimmers of hope which it introduced throughout the story, and then without any spoilers, again, there's like a bit more of a hopeful ending.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a nice balance, really, but it's intended to be like very, very grounded and you know, just very grounded in reality, really, and just reflecting the horrors of World War II, because it was such a horrible time period. And
it was.
I don't think that's kind of captured enough in a lot of war films. It's very kind of presented as, I don't know, just patriotic, like you know, all the Americans are the good guys, and the Germans are the bad guys, and the Germans get shot and all this other stuff. It's just a very kind of black and white kind of like worldview or perspective. Whereas in Last December, I aimed to kind of like challenge those kind of perspectives, and I wanted to present war in a serious way, which has obviously been done, but I like to think there's a twist in Last December. So
I've got to say, it hit me in the feels.
Hit you in the what?
Hit me in the fields.
In the fields? Oh,
yeah.
fields.
In the fields.
You said fields.
I went out to the no. It hit me in the feels. It did.
Okay,
Which is very good. It was really good. I can't say too much, obviously, but if you're someone who likes that sort of emotional pull, I'd definitely recommend this movie, because... Oh, film. I keep saying movie, don't I? I definitely recommend this.
Have you
film.
got an American audience or something?
I always say movie.
Or you just say movie?
Yeah, I always say movie. All right, this film.
Yeah.
But right, so we've talked a bit about, you know, the basics. Let's delve more into, without spoiling it, the plot, right?
Sure.
What can you tell us about the plot? So focusing on the World War II time frame and the serious situation between the two main characters, Edward and James.
Yep.
Yep. Can you tell us more about that, the plot?
Well, as far as like what happens with them.
Yeah, so what kind of happens, of course, without giving too much away, because of course they're in the trailer, they're in, you know, the clip as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, can we delve into more about? Can we delve more into the situation they're in, perhaps? You know, what they are. What they're doing.
Well, again, my intention with these characters is, I guess. Just their friendship kind of grows as the film goes on without like giving spoilers away or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was
so there's that initial kind of like awkwardness between the two characters at the start of the film, which eventually grows because of things that are said and situations or circumstances that happen in the film. And that's kind of almost repeated to some extent with some of the characters towards the end of the film as well.
Yeah.
But obviously these two are like the main kind of, I suppose, heart of the film, I guess.
Of course.
As far as their relationship. So you have Edward, who's the kind of the older one, the mature one, the more experienced kind of soldier.
Yeah.
Who's really kind of seen the horrors of World War II. And, you know, my vision for him was to almost have him as like, having PTSD almost,
right,
in a sense, which I think comes across really well in Si's performance. That's the actor who plays Edward. Just really gets across the fact that he's a very kind of broken character, and he's seen a lot of stuff that has left some scars on him, like mentally. And then you have James, who's the younger, like more inexperienced soldier, and these two are kind of together. They've been forced into this kind of situation together where they're trying to find their way home. Yeah. Being stuck in France. But their relationship, it just isn't quite there because they're two like very different personalities.
There's a maturity difference as well.
And again, James is like inexperienced, so there's that contrast from Edward, who's like really been affected by the war, whereas James is like he's not been in any kind of serious situation before, so he doesn't understand the kind of like seriousness of war, and he's kind of been brainwashed in a sense by propaganda. You know, you sign up for your country and you just go and shoot the bad guys, sort of thing. Of course. It kind of takes away kind of the human like elements, I guess, the human side to the war, which is that, you know, at the end of the day, everyone was on a different side, but everybody's human at the end of the day, you know. Exactly, yeah. But so Edward is kind of more aware of that, whereas James isn't. Yeah. But then at the end of the film, stuff happens and that kind of changes a little bit. Of course. So, yeah.
Let's move on to more, we've already touched on mainly Edward and James's vision. Your vision for the characters. Now, of course, I would like to touch more on there are German soldiers in this film, obviously. Yep. Could you tell us more about your vision and impact that the German soldiers play in the film? And of course, I'd like to add here, I personally like how you put a character behind each person. They're not just a person that was fighting him all. Each character has emotions. They have a family. They have feelings. And I like how you've portrayed that in the movie, which I'm sure everyone will see. But yeah, could you tell us a bit more about your vision for the German characters in the film?
Yeah, well, it's interesting you picked upon, you know, just every character has something that is kind of unique about them, I guess, because we've got the main kind of German general who really kind of, you know, is the kind of antagonist, if you want to call him that, of the film. But then you've got the two kind of extra German soldiers that don't have as much dialogue, but I still wanted to kind of make their characters, you know, stand out a little bit. You know, I didn't want them to just be extras and that's it. Especially given how good the two actors were, you know. I didn't just want to give them a very simple sort of role. So you have the one kind of German extra who's kind of like disobedient to the German general to a certain extent. And you'll see that like in the film itself with a particular moment that happens. And then you've got the other German soldier who's kind of the more, I don't know, he's kind of out to please his general, I guess. You know, he's one of these like very kind of like just very obedient kind of soldiers, like, oh, just
doing their job.
You know, very much follows orders and stuff like that. So again, there's a contrast between those two characters, and then you've got the main general who's like obviously the boss and the main guy that's giving the orders and whatever. And
my favourite character.
Oh yeah, it's just the actor Ollie is just did a fantastic job.
I would also like to touch on that. I spoke to you on the car up to here. I was saying, were those actors actually German? Because when I saw this film, gotta say it right this time. When I saw this film, I was like, are they German? Are they actually German actors?
I mean, they're playing German characters.
Yeah, of course. But like, that's what I mean. The acting was so good. I thought they were German. And then you were like, no, they're not German.
No. The only one that could speak fluent German was Connor, I believe. The other two, they couldn't speak German, so they learnt the lines and then put on the accent.
Wow.
And I think they all did a great job. As I said, I was blessed to work with some amazing actors, to be honest.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I'm not going to go too much into detail, but of course, the attention to detail, particularly in the makeup artists as well.
Oh, yeah.
You'll see that, but I really like it. I really like it. So now, of course, we've covered, I guess, the meat and bones of what we can say about this film.
Sure.
Let's talk behind the scenes, which I'm sure you want to elaborate on, because no film just makes itself. Everyone is putting in their hard work to make a film, from the cameramen to the production team to the editors, you know. So let's talk behind the scenes. First of all, let's talk about the actors, because I love actors. You know, I'm one myself. So who are the actors for this movie, and why did you choose them for their character roles? What qualities did they bring to the table? Could we talk about that?
Right, so
what was it like working
we'll go one at a time, I guess. So Edward, we put out a simple casting call for that character. And we just needed somebody who was a bit of an older, maturer sort of actor who could really like bring across that kind of I don't know, seriousness to the role, maturity to the role, I guess is the right word.
Yes.
And ended up with Sai, who did a phenomenal job.
Well done, Sai.
So he sent through like an audition tape, and I was really happy with what he did, and he really kind of brought across that seriousness and that again, that PTSD-ish sort of attitude, if I could put it that way. I don't know. It was a very kind of moody, kind of somewhat depressing performance, and I was just like, that's exactly what I'm going for.
Perfect.
And then after, like, you know, sending him all my notes and discussing with him in person, it enhanced that even more for the final film. So yeah, he was fantastic. James, played by Matt, who, a good friend of mine, who wrote the script as well. He pretty much insisted that he wanted to be in the film.
He did a great job.
But I made him work for it. So I said, right, okay, this is my vision for Edwards. Can you get to that stage? And he did. So that was good. I think Matt did a really good job, especially with the visual storytelling. I think out of all the actors, I think he has the best kind of visual storytelling. And without any spoilers, there's a shot of Matt in the film, which is probably my favourite shot.
Yes.
Of the entire project.
He's good at conjuring up his emotions.
Yeah, he just did a phenomenal job with the visual storytelling and the facial expressions and whatnot.
Oh yeah. Matt, funny enough, he looks like someone that would be in World War II. His curly hair just suited him. Like how he even looked, it's just like.
Well, we made all the actors grow their hair out a little bit more.
Oh, really? So there was a bit more behind the scenes.
So it's a bit more kind of like realistic, obviously.
Yes.
Because they're supposed to be stranded in this area for like weeks and weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they all had their faces.
And with it being the war, obviously, you know, they're going to have like long hair and whatever and stuff like that. So
exactly. Okay.
But then Ollie, who played the German general, I've not directed him before, but I've been on other projects that he's acted in, and he's quite close with Matt, so we immediately was just like, right, let's get him on board because he'll do a fantastic job as the general, and he did. Just my favourite performance in the whole film is from him.
Yes.
Just the delivery and the mannerisms and the perfect balance of kind of being this antagonist but also showing more of a human side towards the end of the film. I thought he just smashed it.
He smashed it. He did.
Henry, who plays the more kind of disobedient extra German soldier, I've worked with him on other projects as well before, so that was like another easy kind of actor we got in.
Nice.
But he did really well. He's good with a lot of visual storytelling as well, and just kind of showing more of that kind of just being somewhat psychotic. I don't know, because in a good way, because that particular character is meant to be like the disobedient one that's a bit more kind of like radical.
One track
if you know
mind,
what I mean?
Sort of.
Yeah, and he kind of really got that across, especially when he's grabbing Matt and keeping him at gunpoint and stuff like that. It just works really well. And then Connor, who's the final actor, I've not worked with him before, but he just absolutely smashed it, and really good with the German lines as well. And all the actors were just spot on. It just made my job as the director like so much easier.
It's amazing, I guess, when you're a director, and you've got the vision.
Yeah.
When the actors portray that vision amazingly, it's really satisfying to see. What I really like about this film as well is the costumes. I want to talk a bit about the costumes.
Yep.
They were brilliantly put together and designed by who? Who did the costumes?
So Oliver Butler, or Butler as we call him.
Nice.
Just Butler. To be honest, if I wouldn't have had Butler as the production designer, I wouldn't have been able to have done this film, to be honest, because I had a vision for this project and whatever, but I needed a really, really good production designer and a costume person to make sure everything's accurate and to get it just everything looking nice and whatever.
100%.
And he went above and beyond when it came to all that.
Amazing. Yeah.
So the costumes were really good, accurate to the time period.
Oh yeah.
It was a bit of a nightmare trying to find everything in such a short amount of time because we were given a date of I think it was early March that were the 2 dates we were given to shoot the film. We only just kind of started, putting the team together in January, so we essentially had a month and a bit, less than 2 months to kind of sort everything out. It was a lot of work, and Butler just spent hours and hours searching for props and costumes and stuff like that, and it was stressful for him, stressful for me. But ultimately, in the end, I think we got exactly what we needed, and I couldn't be happier really with the costumes and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I like the German general's big leather trench coat. I think that really suited him well.
Yeah, I mentioned to you beforehand that so Butler didn't actually get that coat. All the Germans were going to have a similar kind of uniform. Yeah, but Ollie, the actor, was just kind of because he wanted that particular character to stand out a bit more, I guess, from the other two. Yeah. So he's like, why don't we put him in a leather coat or something like that? So he got that last minute, I think a few days before the shoot or something like that.
It suited him perfectly.
And funny thing is, it's actually a woman's leather coat, and you didn't realise at the time. You won't be able to tell in the film at all, but it's just quite funny. It ended up being a woman's coat, not a man's coat, but he still pulled it off. So it's fine.
I said to you, what that really suited him, and you're like, it was a woman's coat, and I was like, really?
It's not even a man's coat. Yeah, not that you can tell. But
you can't tell. It suited him 100%. Yeah. Of course, the location of where this film was shot was Kenilworth Castle.
Kenilworth Castle. Yeah.
So talk to us a bit about that. So what was it like shooting there? You know, tell us about the location. How did you get it?
Well,
just for the film, no passers-by. It was...
well, my producer Anna, who did an amazing job. Again, I wouldn't have been able to have done the film without her, to be honest, because I don't know what I'm doing with stuff like that. I just stick to directing and editing and whatever. So I need like a good producer to do all that sort of stuff.
100%.
And she did. So she just essentially looked around at different areas, gave me a list of different locations, and I was like, Kenilworth Castle's the best one. Can we get that? And she did, and she managed to get it for free.
Wow.
Somehow the fact that we got that kind of location for free is insane, to be honest.
Exactly.
Because it just works really well with the castle ruins and stuff like that. It just, it almost comes across like it's like a bombed out area or a town or something out in the countryside or whatever. Yeah. That was kind of the intention with it, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, location was fantastic and blessed to have got it, really.
It's amazing. It worked so well with the film.
Yeah.
Of course, Kenilworth Castle is quite run down, and I like that because
in a good way.
I like that because it works amazingly with the film and being in World War II hard times.
Yeah.
I mean, you've touched on it, but why did you decide to film there? Why did you think Kenilworth Castle, that's the place? Why? Why did you think that?
It's just a really good location. So again, I imagined, again, in an ideal world, if I had like a massive budget, it's like I imagine just a bombed out town, where there's just like loads of rubble and stuff everywhere,
Yeah.
But obviously we're student filmmakers, we've only got £1,200 budget. So it's just like, right, let's try and find somewhere where there's like ruins or something, so it looks like the place has been bombed out to some extent.
Yeah.
And again, Kenilworth just ticked all the boxes as far as that, and a lot of the locations for like a lot of the tracking shots and stuff like that. And we're kind of struggling for like the final scene, where to film the final scene.
Right.
So originally, I kind of wanted to actually film it on a train track, because the idea is that Edward and James are trying to find their unit, and like they're headed the point where they're heading to is like supposed to be like a train station, basically.
Yes.
So I wanted to film it along some like train tracks and whatever, but it was just impossible. It just wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So we ended up picking like this like long kind of bridge little area at Kenilworth, which worked quite well, because there's like some stairs as well where like the German general like walks down, he makes his entrance, and it's a bit dramatic and whatever.
I like that.
And it works really well. That's another one of like my favourite moments of the film, when he just like
Can we just add
enters into the film. Yeah.
Can we just add in, I like the foot shot, as an
which foot shot?
When,
I quite like foot shots.
Yeah. It's hard to explain, of course, me not being a director, but when it's like a ground shot of the feet just walking up to the camera. I'm not going to give too much away.
Is that where he picks up one of the items?
Yes, it is. Can I say that?
Yeah. I've not told you what the item is.
Yeah, of course. But I like that. I like that shot. It's just like...
Yeah. And again, that mirrors, because there's a similar shot in the opening, if you notice.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
So the shot's meant to be mirrored between those two characters. People have no idea what we're talking about, but you'll see when you watch the film. Yeah,
you'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course we've covered about the location. What was the time frame of shooting this movie? It was very hectic.
As far as the shooting days?
Yeah, shooting days. What was the time frame? I mean, I know, but...
We had 2 days at Kenilworth Castle because it was shut off from the public. So
2 days.
So we only had 2 days to film it. And we had from, I think it was like 8 till 5 or something, which sounds like a lot of time, but it really isn't for a film.
Setting up takes about...
You've got to set up, and then you've got to think about lunch breaks and everything else and whatever.
Of course.
And it was just... Yeah, to say it was one of the most stressful things I've ever done would be an understatement.
Wow. And yet it still looks really good. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. If I would have had an extra day to reshoot, there would have been a lot of shots I would have liked to have done differently. Some of the tracking shots are not as smooth as I would like and whatever. But that's just me kind of being a bit of a perfectionist, really, I guess.
We're always going to do something. That could have been better, but
so
you've done your best.
Yeah, I mean, the visuals, could have been a bit better, but it's not that bad by any means. But a lot of them we just didn't have time. So at the start of the film, at the interior bit, the interior scene, as I call it, between Edward and James, we had to shoot all of those shots within the space of 45 minutes.
45 minutes,
Yeah.
just those. Oh.
So if you can imagine all those shots being done within the space of 45 minutes.
And the amount of takes as well.
I think I literally just working with the cinematographer Raziel, I was just like, right, let's just get a couple of takes, then we just have to move on.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like we had to be out by 5 p.m. Like we had no choice.
Yeah.
You know. So I was just like, right, we've got to get these shots.
Yeah.
Let's just get them done as quickly as I can. And it's, you know, again, it's those kind of shots that I would have liked to have polished up a bit more, reshots to, you know, make them a bit more like visually pleasing. And then also I was very much rushing the actors as well, because I was just like, right, we just got to do it. Go.
2 days. That's quite... Yeah.
And we started 2 hours late on the first day as well, which was a bloody nightmare. But
fashionably late, not...
Yeah. So there was a bunch of kit that we didn't have, so somebody had to go all the way back to the film school to get some kit to then come back. So that put us behind 2 hours. So we're already limited on time.
That's the worst feeling. When you lose some
when that happened, I was just it was just I was panicking in the moment, and I was very stressed. But I just tried to just get on with it. And we got all the shots we needed. Not all of them are perfect, but we got all the shots we needed, and that's the main thing. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I was working with you on your next film, which I'm acting in, I remember a funny joke that one of the production team played on us, where they pretended to forget the SIM card for the camera. And I remember Reese, the guy manning the camera, was like,
The guy over there.
The guy over there. He was
hello,
like...
Reese, hello.
His name was Lewis, and he came... Well, another Lewis, you're Lewis. But
not me. No.
Yeah, Lewis, he came up and he said, we're going to play a little prank on Lewis. Lewis.
What a joke.
We're going to pretend that we forgot the... Because I think they had to go back to get something, and they came back and went, we forgot something again. So I remember they said, where is it? We've forgotten the SD card or something for the shoot. And you were like... Come on, guys.
Well, I think I was just like, right, let's just go home then.
yeah. I remember you were like, all right, let's call it a day then.
Oh, let's just call it an evening, yeah.
I could tell you were really upset.
Stuff like that, again, you miss like one little thing, like a camera battery or an SD card or a light or whatever, and it's just, you're done for, do you know what I mean?
I know.
When you're such limited on time, if you've got like all day shooting, okay, go and grab something quick and come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, an evening shoot is what I've been doing with you, and it's like if we would have gone back and got something, we would have finished like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I think you were glad it was a prank. Let's just say that.
Well, yeah, but I didn't appreciate it at the time. But there you go.
You didn't.
So, you know.
Anyway, let's talk through the pros and cons of the production of this film.
Yeah.
Was it stressful? What was stressful and what was rewarding?
Everything was stressful.
Well, should we talk a bit about the stressful side first then?
Sure.
Yeah.
How long have you got?
Well, you know.
I don't know. It was just a big challenge. I was working with 5 actors.
Yeah.
So we could only get the German actors for one of the days. So we had to get all of their shots on the first day. So the final scene was shot all on the first day, basically.
Oh, man.
Because they couldn't come back the next day. To pick, for any pickup shots or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a big challenge, trying to cram in so many shots all at once in such a limited time period, and we started 2 hours late. So yeah, there was like problems with the kit. There's a couple of shots that I can't stand in the film. I won't tell you what they are because like people will notice them.
Yeah.
Hopefully most people won't even notice, but there's one particular shot I can't stand, and every time it cuts back to it, I just hate looking at it.
I'm curious.
It wasn't shot how it should have been shot, basically.
Right.
And I really had to try and save it in the edit.
Oh, wow. Well, we'll talk about the editing a bit later on, because that was a whole new...
Well, that was even more stressful, but anyway, yeah. So, and then it's just, again, we were so limited on time, so like we were rushing a lot of it, so I didn't have I think we only could do like 2-3 takes at the most for every shot.
So very stressful.
So it's just like, I'd love to do another shot to improve the performance even more, but it's like I didn't have time. I mean, thankfully the performances were like really good anyway.
Yeah.
Really strong anyway. But, it was just really hectic. It was just like one thing, going from one thing to the next, boom, 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 boom. And it was so much, and I just don't think I was heading into it. And well, looking back on it now, I don't think I was ready for that kind of shoot.
Well, thank God it didn't rain.
And that as well, yeah, because that would have been even more of a nightmare. But so there was that. It was mainly just the problems with the kit and the fact that we started so late as well. So we were limited on time, and then we didn't have time to perfect performances, perfect shots and stuff like this. And I was literally just having to run around everywhere, going from actor to actor, crew member to crew member.
Getting everyone together as well.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
So, and just trying to get everything done in the time that we had, and I just the pressure just really got to me, and nobody on the crew or the actor said I showed it, but I was just I was stressing my head off at the time.
I think you're very good at showing that you're not stressed and getting on with it. That's a good quality as a director.
I suppose so. I mean, I just had to get on with it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, I mean, again, towards the start of the shoot when we were 2 hours behind, I was just like, should we just cancel it? And I was just like, but we can't do that. We've literally been given these dates, and that's it. We had to get on with it. I can't get the German actors to come back again. We have to do it. So it's just a lot, man. Just a lot of pressure and not enough time. It was the time constraints, to be honest, that really got to me. With
that 2-day time frame as well, I'm guessing it's like a feeling of it's either going to go really well or really bad, because you've only got a certain amount of time. So it's that stress of, is it going to go well first?
And outside of the performances, everything did go bad.
Oh no!
So I mean, everybody was doing their job and doing it well. But it was just so rushed. A lot of it was just so rushed, and I just wish we had time to take things a bit slower and make sure everything's really fine tuned as far as the shots and stuff like that.
So do you think if you had more time to shoot this film, do you think it could be better?
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
Yeah.
Especially visually. Yeah.
I mean, I personally was really impressed. So it's funny to hear how stressful it really was, because I'm like, wow, it was really good. And I'm like, you managed to make a great job out of it.
Yeah.
So, of course, we've talked about the stressful side. What was rewarding about production? Anything rewarding?
The performances were just amazing.
Right.
Literally, if I would have had some bad actors, because again, I didn't have time to go over loads of points. I'd be talking to the actors before we do a take or whatever. But I just didn't have time to be really specific with stuff. It's right, we're done. We need to move on to the next shot.
Of course.
And we had some auditions beforehand, which was very helpful. If we didn't have an audition, I think we kind of would have been a bit screwed on the day.
Just the performance needs to be...
Because I was able to really be specific with the actors during the auditions beforehand. But on the day, there's just no time. So the fact that these guys were just as good as they were, and they just got on with it, it made my job so much easier, and I needed that.
A big well done to them. Big well done to them.
So I was blessed to work with just such good actors. They just absolutely smashed it.
Can imagine,
in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about in a minute the editing process, but before we move on to that, have you felt that shooting last December has helped you grow and gain experience as a director?
Yeah. For sure.
It's your first short film.
I mean, I kind of briefly mentioned before that. I wasn't ready for that kind of shoot.
Right.
To be honest. I started running before I could walk, sort of thing. Because I loved the idea, I loved the concept, I loved the script, I had a vision. But then when it came to actually filming it, I was just like, oh my days, this is so difficult.
You basically hit the ground running with the project.
And again, I was just all over the place on the day. So, and I'd never experienced any kind of shoot like that before. I mean, I've done some shoots with you on my other projects and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's been somewhat stressful, but last December was just a whole different level.
I can imagine.
Because we had a 5 p.m. deadline. We have to be out by then.
I can imagine.
Whereas other shoots I've done, okay, we finish early hours of the morning, but at least it's not a strict deadline sort of thing, But, now that I've gone through that kind of shoot, if I was to do another one in the future, which I don't plan to do another hectic shoot like
Hopefully
that.
not.
Anytime soon. I'm fed up of exterior shoots, to be honest. After we've finished the projects I'm working on with you, which is also exterior, I'm done with them for the time being, because they're just it's just, I'm very ambitious, but I'm running before I can walk in, so I'm learning to kind of take a step back a little bit
slower.
Kind of take a step back, do some smaller projects and perfect those first.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And then go on to the more ambitious kind of projects and whatever.
Of course.
I mean, I'm still really proud of Last December, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't ready for that kind of shoot.
No,
definitely not.
no.
But it certainly made me a better director.
Of course.
And,
it's all experience.
Yeah. So, I'd like to think that on future shoots, if it's like really hectic or if there's any other problems going on, there's always problems on shoots. Like, you see, it doesn't matter how planned and prepared you are, and I'm very much the sort of director that's very, everything's got to be like, organised, and I need to know exactly what's happening, and we do this at that time and this time and blah blah blah. But you never end up sticking to it because there's something that goes wrong. There's always something that goes wrong.
I'm surprised at your patience levels.
You have to be. You have to be.
I mean, if I was a director, I think I'd just go nuts because I'd have a vision for the film, and if something goes wrong, or I don't know, an actor's doing it wrong over and over again, I'd be like, okay, that's it. I'm getting a bit upset. Yeah, but you managed to really. Just
I was upset, but I just.
But yeah, you managed to keep on going. Yeah, this is very important.
So I'd like to think I'll be much more prepared next time around.
Of course.
For future shoots,
Of course, it's all experiencing.
As difficult as it was, it's definitely toughened me up a little bit as a filmmaker, which I think we all kind of need.
Of course.
As creators. So
now we did cover the stress of, filming last December, but then once it's all filmed, it's all on the cameras. It goes over to the editor, and you're the person who edited it. Entire.
Well, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
How in detail should I go about that? I don't know.
Well,
I wasn't originally meant to be the editor, but I just ended up taking over as the editor, basically.
All right, well, let's get straight into it then. So, tell me about the editing process. First of all, how many hours each day did it take to edit the film?
Each day?
Yeah.
So this film that we shot it back in March, and it was for our final semester at university, which was I think May time is the deadline for the final semester or whatever.
Yeah.
So I had to get pretty much a finished cut done in a couple of months, basically. So
deadline.
The deadline. Yeah. So I must have spent. I think it was during April time. I'd pretty much be editing like every single day for like 10 plus hours easily.
10 plus hours?
Yeah, every day. Yeah,
and that was
because I had to. Yeah. Originally, I left it to the other person who was meant to be editing the film, but that person it just wasn't coming together. So I was like, right, let me step in and I'll do it myself, sort of thing. So I put the assembly together. Do you know what I mean by that when I say that?
Explain, because some people wouldn't know.
Okay, so putting the assembly together, it's basically taking all of the video files, all the rushes as we call it, putting them in the editing software and just bringing all the clips together, basically. And then, eventually when all the clips are together, it's like a 16-minute film, and that's the assembly.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Guessing there's a lot of stuff you need to cut out and arrange, and I mean,
well, you go through all the different takes, and then you pick your favourite one, and then okay, that's going to be here, and then right, we're going to cut at this point here, and then we're going to cut to this shot, and blah 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 blah.
Along with the audio and the music added on as well.
Yeah, there's lining all of that up as well. And then there's colour grading, which that just took way too long. Everything took way too long. The sound was an absolute nightmare because there's a lot of background noise with it being an exterior shoot. And again, because some of the shots were rushed, the audio wasn't perfect.
Right, yeah.
So it was a lot of kind of like trying to fine tune the sound in the edit. Which was very stressful as well.
So not only did you direct last December, you edited it as well. Yeah, all of it.
And it was just way too much work for me.
I can imagine it. Did it take a toll on your mental health? I can imagine.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Oh dear. I think I literally I had to some extent a mental breakdown, to be honest.
Oh dear.
Because it was just so depressing every single day. Sitting for like 12 plus hours a day, sitting on my laptop editing, not leaving the house,
Can imagine.
not
yeah.
going out and seeing anybody. I hated it.
And the pressure of getting it in for a deadline as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
very pressurising.
And a couple of months sounds like a lot of time, but it really isn't. Like films just take forever to finish, you know. And you know, you can create a cut. Like there's been multiple cuts of the film, but then it's like, oh yeah, but this can be improved, and you know, oh well, I'm gonna improve the color grade a bit more, or the music's going to be changed because originally the music was completely different for the in the first cut.
Right.
You know?
Okay. Yeah. So you're constantly thinking, oh, I can make a change here. I can make a change there.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got that vision, haven't you? So when you're editing it as well, you want to make sure it's your vision. And when you're under a deadline, that's a lot more pressurising. And
so it's good because I got my last December. That is my vision.
That's good.
Like
you
know,
managed to
that
get
is
that.
exactly what I wanted in the film. But it was just way too much work for me, and it just drove me insane.
Well, let's hope
the
it
time.
pays off because it's amazing, and you know the hard work has definitely paid off, which is really good. So you know, of course, we've talked about unfortunately the negative side, which I'm guessing you're not going to do again. I don't think you're going to put yourself through that again, right? Doing all that.
Not in an ideal world, but as I say, after my next project, I've got some ideas of films I'd like to do, and I still like to kind of push the boat out a little bit. You know, I don't. You know, the films that I make, I don't want them to come across as student. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Because you know, I just kind of want to push boundaries a little bit, and I don't think Last December comes across as a student film.
The sky's the limit.
You know,
Aim for the sky. Aim for the sky.
So you know, I'll still be going for like ambitious ideas and interesting ideas, hopefully. But I do want to kind of scale back a little bit, and for the sake of my own mental health, I think.
Of course, it's always important to put mental health first when working.
Walk a bit first and perfect the smaller, and then go on to the bigger later on.
Of course, of course. So, of course, we've covered the negative stress side of editing. Let's talk about, on the upside, what are some of your favourite shots in the film that you're most proud of?
Without giving away spoilers.
That's a good point. Is there something you can say?
I like the opening shot.
Okay.
With the French flag.
Nice.
That's
that's in
too much of a spoiler.
The first trailer, isn't it? I believe.
So. Oh, is it? Yeah, it is in the trailer.
Yeah, so you can say that. Yeah. So and that's in there, the flag.
So there's the opening shot of the French flag and the main character Edward walking into shot and whatever, and it's with the new music especially. It's just like really good now.
Of course. Of course.
And there's a lot of the close-up shots in the final scene. I was talking about with you earlier on, wasn't I? My favourite shot in the film is where James. I don't want to give away spoilers, but there's stuff that happens, and there's a shot where like a tear falls from his eye, which is like
the
really
emotion.
Good. That's like probably my favourite shot in the whole film. And
exclusive information, everyone.
Yeah, there you go. But then some of the tracking shots, not a fan of, but then there's other ones that I thought were done really well. Yeah. I really love the shot of the German general coming down the steps.
Me too.
I just think that's a cool shot.
It is. I'm always rooting for the villains in films, and I've said this many times. So the German general immediately took a massive liking to him. Of course, I just like
the way it's shot because you don't see his face. We just see him out of focus coming down the steps.
Yeah.
It's just
here he comes, so to speak.
Yeah.
Do you think you'll ever do a director's cut, so to speak, where you watch your film and react to it?
Oh, like a commentary?
Yeah, like a commentary, that's it. So would you ever do a commentary? Because
could do one day,
yeah. Because you could then say in detail what your favourite shots are.
Yeah, I can be like, that's my favourite shot, and that one's crap, and that one's good.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, because you said director's cut. I mean, the Last December pretty much is the director's cut. To be honest, I mean, that is my vision. I don't
know if people are finding out here, but I don't know the director movie lingo, so I making lots of mistakes. I've said we'll keep this in, but I've said during this interview the word movie several different times, and Lewis is like, no, it's film. It's not movie. We're not in America.
Yeah.
The UK, it's called a film, and I'm British.
It's not Birmingham Movie Festival.
It's film festival. So everyone,
which we'll talk about in a bit.
We will. We've got. Yeah. Well, let's talk a bit about your what inspired other movies Can I say that? Other movies that inspired.
Other films, yeah.
All right, I'm just going to ban the word movie from my mind, you know. Let's talk about other films that inspired last December.
Yeah.
You've mentioned a few, so let's talk a bit about it. How did they inspire the film?
Well, as far as like the way I wanted to tell the story, because the script was already written by Matt, so I think like 1917 was an inspiration for him writing the script, the story.
Right.
But then as far as like how I wanted to tell it and the visuals and stuff like that, 1917 is a big one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tracking shots. Well, not a lot, but there's quite a few in the film. One of them, I wanted to be like a really, really long tracking shot, just like 1917.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't able to pull it off.
Yeah.
Mainly because the location where we were filming this particular scene, and it's the clip we've showed actually. This is the shot I'm talking. So the clip that was shown earlier on.
Yeah.
I wanted that entire scene to be one long tracking shot.
Right. Okay.
But there was like loads of construction like around the area, so we had to film around it. So I was just like, now if it's in one take, we're going to see all that like in the background and stuff like that.
So there was construction. How did that not get into the film? Like the noise of hammers and chisels.
Well, we had to pick a time basically which areas we went to.
Yeah.
So the construction dudes were like on one end of the castle and we were on the end of the other, and then we'd like swap as the day goes on and stuff like that.
Okay.
But there was still like diggers and stuff like that everywhere.
That would have taken.
Like we had to try and avoid all the diggers because obviously that'd be a bit of continuity problem.
A big one that would be. I mean, I remember. Of course, we won't talk about this too much because this is about last December when the film that you're directing, that I'm acting in, we had to cancel an entire shoot because of construction workers. You know, heard all the hammers and the.
Oh yeah.
It happens.
We were ready to go, weren't we? And then all of a sudden, there's construction work nearby.
Yeah.
Next to the location, and we're just like, right, let's go home then.
Oh, you damn construction workers! No, I'm joking. You're all right. So you've mentioned 1917. I'd like to mention the other two. I believe is Saving Private Ryan and
As far as like the mood, because that's like a very kind of moody kind of dark film, you know. Again, which does a great job of like reflecting the horrors of war, especially the opening scene, obviously.
Yeah.
Which is pretty iconic.
Yes, it is.
And then there's Come and See, which is an older, I think is it Russian film or something?
I've not seen it. Yeah.
I can't remember. But it's a foreign film. But but as far as like some of the visuals in there, because that's like a very like depressing film, and some of the shots, there's a shot in that film where the main character, the young kid, towards the end of the film, has a gun up against his head, and it's like a really like kind of iconic shot in Come and See. And I kind of nicked that idea basically and put it in last December.
Oh, as a director, inspire.
Yeah, because one of the characters, James, has a gun up against his head towards the
scary
towards the end of the film. So that's kind of influence from Come and See.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one? Hacksaw
Bridge.
Yeah, which again is just quite moody and like the visuals, like kind of like very brown and grey kind of colour palette and stuff like that. And again, it's very kind of like, because that's based off a true story as well. Obviously, World War II is based in reality anyway, but you know what I'm saying. It's like a very realistic take on World War II.
It is.
And again, that's what I wanted for last December as well. So
perfect. Well, we've now covered the production and the editing. Let's talk about the music now. I love my music, and I've heard the music score for last December. Yeah, I loved it. Who wrote the music for the film?
A guy called Harrison.
Okay.
Yeah, or Harry.
Yeah, Harry.
Yeah.
Well, he did an amazing job.
He did. The music is almost too good, I think.
Yeah.
To be honest, for this kind of project, it's like it's the sort of music, in my opinion, anyway, that you'd hear on like a big budget feature film.
Of course, it worked so well with the shots and how the actors were. It was amazing.
Yeah, it lines up so well with the footage, and it's very moody, it's very eerie, it's very emotional. It elevates the film like so much.
Amazingly.
So it was really interesting working with Harry.
Wow.
Because I feel a bit sorry for him because I sent him that many notes because I was just like so specific with music because I think music can really like make or break a film. And if the music is bad, it just throws people out.
Oh yeah.
So there were certain instruments I was just like, no, I don't like that. Remove that. But he's you know, I sent him just like a long list of notes, and fair play to him. He stuck to everything that I told him, and he's just done such a good job with it. You know,
smashed it out the park.
Yeah, literally couldn't be happier with the music, especially in comparison to what we had before. The music that we had for the like very early cut was okay. Yeah. But it was just like a little too theatrical and like it sounded like an orchestra. Whereas what Harry's done, it's like it's limited instruments and it's just like very grounded, very moody, and you know, just very subtle for the most part. Right. And it's just I just love it. I just love the music.
So did Harry see a cut from the film and then make the music, or did he just go purely off your notes?
Yeah. So I sent him a cut with like just like none of the old music in or anything like that. It was literally just like the sound effects and the dialogue, and that's it. So and then he would do his magic on his end and line up the music as best as he can with the visuals. And he just does. He's just done such a good job.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Do you know what inspired the themes? Did he have any inspirations from other music scores from other films?
I don't know.
Or was it purely out of his
so in my notes I was just like, make sure it's eerie, make sure it's somewhat depressing. Yeah. Make sure it reflects the horrors of World War II. Oh wow. Bring out some emotion during this part and whatever. Make sure it's like quite grounded and subtle, and doesn't sound like an orchestra and stuff like that. So those are like basic kind of notes that I sent him.
Of course.
And he stuck to them, for the most part. And
amazing.
But all in all, by the end, he's just the music just I couldn't ask for it to be much better. So.
Wow. I mean, my favourite track is Promises.
Yep.
So I was going to ask you what's yours. Oh, right. So same.
It's funny because everybody I ask is like, oh, what's your favourite track? And they always say Promises.
Really? So everyone likes that one.
So
it's almost
when I first heard that, when he sent over like the early draft of that, I was just like, wow. It's just like, and it complements the scene so well as well. So just I love Promises, but I also love. I love all the music, don't get me wrong, but definitely Promises, Hoping for Home. On Your Way. Those are probably my top three.
Wow, okay.
Absolutely love them. Yeah.
I mean,
and those are the more kind of emotional
it's like
bits of score, which I'm a sucker for. So,
it's like sad but beautiful in a way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. I mean, where can we find this music? Because this music is already out, I believe.
It's on all streaming platforms.
Yeah.
So it's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on other places, I think.
Amazing.
Check out Harry's Instagram page. He's got a link to.
It'll be linked in the description
all the
below.
different social media links or whatever. Yeah. On the streaming platforms. Yeah.
Of course. Of course, I have given them a like on YouTube. I do like them.
Good, yeah. But it's just great. I mean, it's the sort of music again. I said to Harry when he finished, I was like, this is just like so good. Like, just release it as its own thing. Yeah. Don't just save it for the film and that's it. And I listen to it like every now and again. When I'm like, because I'm a part-time cleaner at the minute, so when I'm like going around cleaning, I'll just listen to the soundtrack as I'm doing that.
I like that you're doing a cleaning job right now, and yet you're directing really good short films.
Well, I just need a bit of money, don't I? So part-time cleaning gets the job done. Literally, But it's the sort of music I think you can just listen to on its own as its own separate thing. Probably not too much because it's somewhat depressing at parts, but I
always liked, when I see a film that I really enjoy and I really like the music, I always type in, where's the OST? I want to listen to the track separately. So I'm really glad you did that. So people can find the music separately if they enjoy it and listen to it in their own time.
And I love it. I love listening to it. So
well done. Well, let's talk about final sort of things, final plans for the release of this film, because the film's obviously not out yet. Starting off, film festivals. Do you know which film festivals Last December will be submitted to? And I mean, you've got very good news today because one has already accepted.
Have indeed, yep.
Yeah.
So it literally got accepted to Birmingham Film Festival last night.
Well
So,
done.
which is great. So I'll certainly be going to that in November time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's like early November that's happening. But yeah, we'll be sending it out to as many festivals as possible, really, just to get the film out there. And you never know what that can lead to.
Exactly.
I need to make more connections as a filmmaker, and I just want as many people to see the film as possible, really. So
100%,
and I'm pretty optimistic it will do well. So we're off to a good start.
We're off to a very good start.
Yeah.
Despite all the stress of filming it and stuff. So,
Yeah.
What platforms can we hope to see Last December come out on once it's been in the festivals?
So yeah, he'll do the film festival kind of circuit for the rest of this year, but maybe like end of the year or early next year, it'll be on YouTube and Vimeo and places like that.
So we have a date for like early next year or end of this year then?
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you. It depends what festivals we're submitting it to, and my producer, she knows what she's doing with all that. I just kind of leave it to her for the most part, so 'cause she knows way more than I do.
Yeah.
So,
Well done to your dedicated team as well.
Yep.
Right, now we're going to move on to some final questions before the episode ends. Some fun little ones to end it off. On a scale of 1 to 10, how impressed are you with Last December?
Well, I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I'm going to say 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10?
Yep.
Okay. Right, okay. Also, what is the next film that you hope to be releasing?
Well, you already know, don't you?
I'm just asking for the... yeah, of course. Can we say the name?
Yeah. No, so my next project is called There's Something About You, which this man is starring in as the main actor.
Of course.
Looking
forward to it.
Should I tell him what it's about?
Yeah. Go ahead. I mean, we're going to hopefully do another interview about it when that's...
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, that's the reason kind of why we're doing this today, because we were always going to plan to do it for that project, weren't we? So.
But let's briefly touch on There's Something About You.
Yeah. So, well, it's about a young guy who's walking the streets alone at night time. He's lost. He's trying to find his way home. Quite a few things happen along the way.
They do.
And it's... Yeah, I really don't want to give spoilers away.
Yeah,
but,
it's fine, keep it there.
But, it's a question of whether he ends up making it home or not.
Yeah, very exciting.
The impact that one particular character has along Jaden's journey. Oh, that's the character's name, Jaden. Forgot to mention that. Yeah.
Similar to my actual name, Judah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to add, this was my first ever short film, which we're still, acting and filming. It's my first ever short film, and I must say, I'm blown away by all the work that goes into it. I mean, I've found myself, working so hard for this role and becoming someone else, because acting isn't about acting or pretending, it's about being that person.
Yeah, becoming the character.
Becoming the character.
Yeah.
So, I'm very excited for that. And, of course, more information will be, I mean, there's pictures already, little behind-the-scenes pictures up on your Instagram.
I've got some stuff up, so what we've shot so far is great. It's just taking so much time because there's that many delays.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll cover all that in another episode.
Yeah. I mean, last December was pretty hectic, but There's Something About You's probably not been quite as hectic, but there's been a lot of a lot of issues, as there always is on film sets. So
of course,
but that's another conversation for another time.
Of course, and I've certainly grown from this experience. Working with you as a director and seeing how you work is amazing. So
thank you.
Yeah, one little last question is: what advice would you give to anyone out there that wants to be a film director?
Kind of said it earlier, but walk before you can run.
Good advice.
I think, especially as film students, we get way too ambitious. It's like we've got this really cool idea, and it's like, right, let's just go and shoot it. And it's good to do that. Don't get me wrong. Like just go out and film stuff and whatever. But when it's to the level of something like Last December, which is like, there's so much that's gone into it from like a pre-production point of view and post as well. But yeah, as I say, I was just. I loved the script, I loved the idea and the concept, and I was just like, right, let's do it. Yeah. And I'm glad that I did. But I weren't ready for that, man. I weren't ready for this kind of project. The fact that we've pulled it off, to be honest, is a miracle. So, and I'm not trying to like put myself down as a director, but we all have to start somewhere. And looking back now, I wish that I would have started on some smaller projects. to direct.
So don't bite off more than you can chew.
Exactly,
so to speak.
yeah. Because again, just start off small, perfect that, and work your way up from there.
Yeah.
Because I should have done that rather than starting on a project like last December, which is like up here, like it's just, it's such like massive responsibility and
0 to 100
and pressure, and you know, I just, you know, I've literally only just like graduated film school. I've got like way more experience to gain yet, you know.
Yeah. Always growing.
So that's what I'd recommend. Like, always go out and create films.
Yeah.
But even if it's just like a little 2-minute short or whatever.
Yeah.
Start off with something like that, rather than trying to do like a 60-minute exterior World War II shoot with 5 actors, and it's just like, it's too much.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And even with There's Something About You as well, it's too ambitious.
Yeah. I mean, I know
it's too ambitious. I mean, you know,
hectic.
working on it.
Yeah.
And it'll be good when it's finished. And I'm a better director now than I was. What was it, a year ago that we started?
We've made
filming
changes,
it?
haven't we? Have we gone along, haven't we?
Yeah, I've massively like changed the script and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, just take your time. There's literally no need to rush when it comes to your filmmaking career, you know. So I'm glad that last December has worked out really well.
Yeah.
I'm really fortunate. But I'm taking a step back after There's Something About You.
Have a break, Lewis.
I absolutely need a break.
Get a cup of tea.
You know, just take things a bit slower and a bit easier, for crying out loud.
Relax.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, Lewis, where can we find you? You know, you're on Instagram, YouTube. You know, where can we find you so people can go and support you and see more of your projects?
Mainly Instagram, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm not a big social media guy, but I do post like my film-related stuff on Instagram and stuff like that.
Perfect.
Need to build up my following on stuff like that, and then I do have a YouTube channel. Again, it's like nothing massive by any means. It's just something to put my content on, really.
Will your short films be up on there? On your YouTube
eventually,
channel?
yeah.
Okay.
So the only thing that's up there now is like
just the music
trailer, the trailer for last December and the music, and that's it.
Well, that's all linked below. Please go and support Lewis Anthony Smith, because he's got a lot of stuff to come in the future, which we're all very excited about.
Hope so.
So, Lewis, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's amazing. So please check out his links down below, where you can follow and support Lewis. Instagram, YouTube, which I'll be linking. But thanks again, Lewis, for coming on.
Thank you.